Hey, everybody. You are about to hear a brief retelling of the movie Moon 2112. Enjoy the movie. In the future, mankind faced an energy crisis, so a technology was developed that allows you to extract energy on the surface of the moon. To ensure the extraction of innovative fuel on the backside of the satellite erected mines, and to control their work is enough for one person. Such as our hero Sam Bell, who signed a contract for 3 years. And by the end of this period he has already grown old and sad. His only interlocutor and assistant is the robot Gertie. All the employee thinks about is how he wants to go home. Pictures of his wife and daughter are plastered everywhere. Another shipment of helium isotope 3 has been sent to Earth. Sam has only 2 weeks left on the station, but he's nervous about the broken satellite, which means he can't communicate directly with Earth. He only occasionally receives messages from his superiors and his wife Tess. It is the thought of the imminent meeting with his beloved that keeps the lonely man from going crazy. More than his wife, he is happy to see only his daughter. Also, not to go crazy, Sam has mastered a hobby, carving a miniature of his hometown out of wood. One day he sees a hallucination, some girl, and because of this scalds his hand with boiling water. After sleeping, the man wakes up in a cold sweat, and during standard workouts he runs out of breath and coughs. He begins to suffer from headaches. One of the harvesters mining the helium isotope is out of commission, and Sam sets out to get to it on a moonwalker. Another hallucination leads to a serious accident. Sam wakes up already in the isolation ward. He doesn't remember much, and the robot tells him that he needs to heal for a while. His eyes hurt from the light, and his legs are unsteady. He hears the robot reporting the accident to his superiors, but the Iron Man tries to convince him that there is no direct communication and he is just sending a videotape. After a while, Sam wishes to get back to work. Harvesters need to be fixed, but the robot has been instructed not to let the worker outside under any circumstances. Sam doesn't like this and sets up a diversion. He hangs the robot on his ears and tries to persuade him to let him out to check the integrity of the station's plating. He succeeds and the robot lets the man out. The man immediately jumps into the lunocode and goes to the crash site. Inside the wrecked lunocode he finds a body in a spacesuit. It is his double. The unknown man looks exactly like him. The body is taken to the station and placed in isolation. Sam wakes up and sees a band-aid on his arm. After being scalded, he thinks the man in the ward is another hallucination. The next time he wakes up, he sees the doppelganger again. He asks Gertie what the hell is going on and who the hell this guy is. The robot frowns and offers the poor guy something to eat or sleep on. One day, a cowed Sam decides to make contact with a fresher Sam. Sam number 2 tells the second that he's only been on the station for 1 week. They argue about slippers and refer to each other as clones. Later, the first one thanks the second for saving him. But now they both have a partner for a game of ping pong. The newcomer loses with a huge score. During the conversation, both remember their wife, and the pale Sam in contrast to the fresh Sam, also a young daughter. From the ground from the management comes a message in which the employee notifies that a rescue squad will arrive in 14 hours. Old Sam is happy that he will soon return to his wife. The new Sam assumes that besides them on the station may be clones. It turns out that the model of the city was partially made before the arrival on the moon of his battered neighbor and decides to look for a secret room where the doppelgangers can hide. He also concludes that it is much more profitable to keep people like them on the station than to train new employees every time. Every nook, every panel is explored, but all to no avail. The only thing left is to look at the place where the model was placed, but because of it a fight broke out between the doppelgangers. After the scuffle, old Sam's face was covered with blood. He didn't seem to get hurt much, though. He complains to Gertie about his neighbor's explosive temper, but now he understands why Tess left him. The robot reminds him how he ended up at the station, saying there was an accident and Sam woke up in the isolation ward. Afterwards, however, Gertie confesses how things really are. The man wasn't brought in, but was revived, given tests for mental stability and general physical condition. A standard procedure for clones, the memories of his wife and daughter in his head are formed by memory implants. This is the memory of the real Sam Bell. The same procedure was done with the second clone when the program thought that the previous one had died in an accident. During the next attempt to talk and find out what's going on, the fresh Sam insists that the inability to go live with Earth is a lie. Therefore, a way must be found to contact someone on the planet. The two Sams drive the Moonwalkers away from the base. Soon they find the jamming generators that jammed the signal. Old Sam gets sick and vomits blood. Then he goes back to the base. There, the man gets sick and vomits blood down the toilet again. And then his tooth falls out. Access to his computer file is blocked, but Jerdy comes to the rescue. In the video file, he sees another decrepit Sam Bell, whose hair is falling out. At the end of his contract, he lies in a capsule that is supposed to take him supposedly to Earth. The same thing happens to other versions of Sam. The cycle repeats itself every 3 years, which is the lifespan of a clone, and then they are simply incinerated. The man decides to check how the cryogenic capsule works. In the same room, he finds a secret passage. The two Sams take turns going down the stairs and see a huge cell-filled chamber with another fresh Sam Bell lying in a state of anabiosis. The old clone leaves the station and the jamming zone to call his home. He is answered by a girl who informs him that Tess died a few years ago. In front of him is his daughter Eve, who is now 15 years old. Sam wants to find out how his wife left his life, but he hears Sam's original voice on the other end and cuts the connection. He cries and wants to go home. Old Sam is getting worse by the minute, shivering, coughing constantly, unable to stand on his feet, and assumes that the team that will arrive here in 7 hours will deal with him as witnesses. The newcomer puts the half-dead clone to bed and reviews the tape of his conversation. Afterward, he asks Gertie to help him revive another clone. It may help the fellow survivors save their lives. Collapsing Sam looks surprised at another sleeping doppelganger. Number 2 shares a plan with him. He is going to take the third clone away and leave it in the broken Moonwalker. The two of them, however, will fly to Earth. The old clone's legs are already failing. His time is coming to an end. Sam refuses to fly, and it is he, instead of the third clone, who will be left to die in the Moonwalker. Before saying goodbye, the doppelgangers remember how they met Tess. The old clone is barely moving. Sam carries him in his arms and leaves him to live out his last hours alone. It's an hour and 40 minutes until the squad arrives. Gertie warns Sam that he is unlikely to make it, since he has been recording everything that happens on the station. But the friendly robot immediately adds that his main goal is to help humans, and he is ready to erase all records after Sam's departure. Gertie says goodbye to Sam and he reboots it. The squad is getting ready to land, and Sam is getting comfortable in the rocket that usually delivers the helium isotope to Earth. At the very last moment, he runs up to the control panel and programs Harvest to destroy the signal jammers. Immediately afterward, the station becomes capable of direct communication. Sam flies out just as the crew enters the station and the new clone comes around. Old Sam watches a bright dot in the sky. Their plan succeeds. We learn that Sam has successfully made it to Earth and is testifying against the corporation.